Do you remember what happened
When?
during the battle?
Welcome to the dark side of the moon, gentlemen.
Our job is to separate the Taliban from the ordinary people.
Welcome to Screen Recaps, and today we are going to recapping the movie The Outpost. In 2006, during the war in Afghanistan, the U.S. Army establishes outposts to combat insurgency and connect with locals. PRT Kamdesh, located in a remote valley, is seen as a death trap. A new team of soldiers arrives and bonds with those already stationed there. The next day, after learning about insurgents using the mountains for surprise attacks, they find a dog that one soldier, Skusa, had rescued. Suddenly, insurgents attack from the mountains. The soldiers scramble for cover, running low on ammo. After Carter returns with the correct ammo, they fire a mortar, securing a victory. Tensions arise afterward, with Gallegos clashing with a fellow soldier. A severely injured man is airlifted out for surgery. Later, Captain Keating disciplines a soldier for smoking marijuana, reducing him to private and cutting his free time. Keating arranges a shura, a council meeting with village elders, to improve relationships with the locals. Despite the locals being armed, Captain Keating leaves his weapons behind during a meeting with village elders to show he comes in peace, offering protection and money to separate civilians from the Taliban. After a tense negotiation, the elders disarm, and Keating shares a hug with the leader. That night, the soldiers celebrate with food, drinks, and music. The next day, insurgents attack again, but the fight is brief. Later, Keating is ordered to move a large vehicle through narrow, dangerous mountain roads. Despite warnings, he drives the vehicle, but it slips off the edge and explodes, killing Keating and his team. After their funeral, Captain Nileskas arrives to take command, but insurgents soon attack again from the mountains. After the battle, Captain Nileskas sends a patrol, but the soldiers grumble, seeing it as pointless. Romesha uses the opportunity to explain how the enemy could easily destroy their outpost by targeting weak spots. Days later, Kirk captures a local man taking photos of the area, raising suspicions. A shura meeting is held, but only half the elders attend, upset about unpaid promises. Valeskas refuses to release money until an investigation into the photos is complete. Muhammad warns that the Taliban are planning a major attack, but his warning is dismissed. On patrol, Yeleskas and Younger are caught in an explosion on a bridge. Yeleskas dies, and Younger, in shock, is covered in his blood. That night, Romesha finds Younger in a traumatized state and calmly disarms him, sharing his own painful memories. Younger is evacuated with Yeleskas' body when a helicopter arrives. The new commander, Broward, informs the soldiers that the outpost will be shut down in July, and they are to focus on closing operations. The next day, the soldiers give Broward an Afghan ID they found near the bridge. The soldiers suspect an ID belongs to a hydroelectric worker and want to search villages, but Broward forbids it due to rules of engagement, dismissing Romesha's protests. As the soldiers adapt to routine, another mountain attack occurs, prompting Romesha to call for backup. Broward insists on positive weapon identification first, leading to frustration among the troops. After the attack, Broward reiterates the importance of rules and announces they won't leave in July due to pressure from the Afghan president. Those soldiers will receive a raise. The group increasingly dislikes Broward's leadership and habits. During lunch, Carter expresses the troops' concerns to Bunderman, who defends Broward's experience. That night, after spotting movement in the mountains, an explosion occurs. Broward authorizes a mortar strike with corrected coordinates. The next morning, during a meeting about insurgents possibly having night vision, the elders arrive, accusing the Americans of killing a young girl. The soldiers realize the girl was killed by the Taliban to provoke a reaction, but Broward decides to pay the elders to prevent trouble. An elder is bitten by a dog, leading to demands for retribution. Broward shoots the dog and reprimands Skusa for having a pet during wartime. Later, the soldiers entertain themselves with waterboarding challenges until Broward announces he's been relieved of duty, confirming the outpost will close on October 6th. Bunderman takes charge in the interim, warning them not to disclose the closure date to their families. On October 3rd, Muhammad runs in, alarmed that all villagers have left, and hundreds of Taliban surround the base. Initially dismissed, his warning proves true when they spot insurgents on the mountains. Explosions erupt, forcing the soldiers out of bed to defend the outpost. A soldier narrowly escapes a headshot thanks to his helmet, while Bunderman is injured during an explosion. The insurgents surround them, and as Bunderman calls for help, they learn an airstrike won't arrive for 2 hours. Thompson runs out to assist but is killed. The remaining soldiers scramble for cover and long-range weapons, while Romesha moves strategically, issuing orders and returning fire. Kirk hides inside a building to change weapons, but is knocked out by an explosion and a gunshot. His friends drag him back inside as the outpost situation worsens. Zaid pleads with Bunderman for air support, but Bunderman, frustrated, tells him to manage for now. The few doctors in the infirmary are overwhelmed with patients. A soldier volunteers to retrieve Kirk, dodging bullets and explosions, and eventually brings him back on a stretcher. However, Skusa is shot while fetching ammo and is dead by the time he reaches the infirmary. Kirk's pulse weakens, and despite Carter's efforts to gather more ammo and reach a vehicle, the chaos continues. Romesha sneaks around, using various weapons until he's injured by shrapnel. After checking on Kirk and finding him dead, Romesha retaliates by killing an enemy sniper. As explosions escalate, Hart attempts to deliver ammo to a truck but gets stuck and shot down. The remaining soldier informs Romesha, who teams up with Sahid to fend off the insurgents as the enemy breaches multiple points. In the comms room, Bunderman learns reinforcements are on the way and decides to hold their position, but Romesha argues they should retake the base. Romesha plans to block the main gate using ammo from the supply room, gaining permission from Bunderman after an explosion cuts communications. Frustrated, Carter and Gallegos jump off their truck, but Gallegos is soon down, forcing Carter to retreat. Seeing a wounded enemy soldier, Carter rushes out to help despite hesitation from his partner. He secures the soldier's leg and brings him back. Romesha ignores Bunderman's orders and leads a group to fire at insurgents storming the base. They reach the front gate and prepare for battle just as air support arrives, dropping bombs on the enemy. Carter confirms the airstrike is friendly and quickly returns to the vehicle. They contact Bunderman, who warns of an imminent bomb drop. Carter and his partner rush to the infirmary with a wounded soldier, where the doctor uses his own blood for transfusions. The survivors donate blood to help their wounded friends as the new captain arrives with reinforcements. Finding the outpost largely destroyed, they search for lingering insurgents and discover Muhammad hiding, ready to say, "I told you so." Bunderman, in tears, reports their losses to the new captain, who praises his leadership and announces plans to blow up the outpost before leaving. That night, the survivors share one last song before their evacuation. As they fly away, they witness the final explosion, mourning the loss of the man Carter saved. All receive stars for their bravery, with Carter and Romesha earning medals of honor, marking them as the most decorated unit of the war. 3 days later, at a new base, they reconnect with loved ones. Carter, struggling with PTSD, has a breakdown during a session with a psychologist who helps him regain composure. An investigation later blames the Battle of Kamadesh on poor leadership and inadequate defenses, leading to the closure of many indefensible outposts. This battle also marked the first in 50 years to award medals of honor to living servicemen.
I thought I